I'm sorry. I feel rude. Did I introduce you guys?
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Okay.
So are you looking?
When I'm coordinating these different events and, I'm going to like galas, Chefs in the City, or, just these high profile galas, and, people are asking what you do for a living or where you're from. There is like a slight insecurity about where I'm from that I'm dealing with. Because where I'm from doesn't really reflect who my family is and where we're about. I feel like all these stereotypes come up in people's mind when I say where I'm from. People are all on welfare, or people from Auburn Gresham are uneducated and they don't know their fathers, or litter, they don't take care of their property. And none of those stereotypes apply to definitely not me and no one in my family or extended family.
I don't think it's the same neighborhood from when I was a kid. When I was a kid, it was middle-class black families who were educated, and they moved over here, and there's always something to do. Like, I loved it as a kid. My childhood, I remember, is to spend the night all the time next door over Beverly's.
Right.
And then playing it, like tag for some people, and then climbing the trees.
Off the deck.
I fell.
No, you didn't fall. You jumped off the deck.
You were playing, I was 13.
On a dare.
I remember when I was growing up, there was a kid in our block who was rumored to be gay, and he just didn't really fit in with the other kids just because of that. And we were friends. We were really cool. He was just given a really hard time. I thought it was unfortunate. I mean, I just kind of tried to remove myself from it, and, at the time I was just a kid, and I didn't really deal with it. I didn't really talk to him about it, even though we were friends. Because I think I kind of always knew that I was gay, but, I just didn't really deal with it. My motto was always, if I'm not really seriously dating anyone, what's the point of coming out?
I always stood out as a kid because I dressed differently and talked different, but I was never picked on as a kid.
But you was so damn preppy.
I went in a red blazer when I was
right. We
fifth
hunts
grade.
and hunts.
I wanted luggage when I was 10. I wanted
a gold watch,
a pocket watch.
Those were little hints. In the beginning we thought it was a little eccentric, but then the eccentric wasn't a word. We had to find another word.
I was 21, senior in college, and I was dating Andre, which was this Russian guy, like straight from Russia. And for the longest time, his name was Andrea to my parents and my family. I really wanted him to come to Thanksgiving dinner. And so I just called my mom and was like, well, we were talking, I was just sort of making like light conversation with her. And I was like, well, I have something to tell you.
It took him a while to tell us.
She was just kind of like, well, you can tell me anything, I'll still love you. I don't care. I was like, okay, well, Andrea is really a Russian man. His name is really Andre. She's like, oh, I kind of figured.
But what he didn't know is I already knew. But I was trying to respect him for him to be the child I raised and the young man I hoped he was to bring it to us. But I knew it. I knew it in my heart. But I said, till he comes and tell us, then that's the only time I'm going to acknowledge it.
I had a really good experience coming out. Like, my parents, no one cared. And he came to Thanksgiving dinner that next month. Anyone who I'm dating, they automatically become part of the family. So it went really well. They all liked him, and he got along really well with my family. When you are a gay black man, and you're just coming out, I don't think Boys Town is always the most welcoming place. I just wish there were more options outside of just a club or just a bar, but more like resources. Within the South Side, the LGBT youth of color can go, so they don't always have to travel like an hour or for some 2 hours north just to get this feeling of community. In the past, when I have met a guy who like I'm interested in and he's interested in me, and it's usually visitors, because I feel like if it was a guy from here, he probably lives in the area or whatever, so we'll go back to his place. And I'm just like, I'm like, well, I live far, like it takes me an hour to get to my place. And they're like, oh, okay, I don't care, that's fine. I'm like, no, it takes me an hour, I'm not joking. And they're just like, okay, that's fine. And then because I remember one time it was this guy from London who had no clue what he was getting himself into. Came all the way back to my place. He did not care. I was like, okay. And then so he came back to my place, and then in the morning when it was time for him to leave, he was going to catch the bus back. And I was like, well, let me walk you to the bus stop. And I remember I walked into the bus stop, and this other guy looks at both of us and goes like, y'all in the wrong damn neighborhood. And then the guy from the British guys is kind of like clueless. Oh, whatever. Like he's from London. He doesn't know he's in the hood.
Home is what you make it. And I've always told them, when you come home, this is where you let your hair down. You don't have to have any false pretenses, but you must have your guard up when you go out. Because sometimes you have to demand respect. I don't care what you are. You have to know who you are.
Like, don't mess with me here.
Yeah. You know, I'm not here to bother you, and I'm not here trying to convert you. You know, I'm another guy walking the streets, so let's not go through this.
Yeah.
The first thing people like to say is when you get a degree, you grow. That's what I look at. When you grow, the first thing people that are not growing want to say,
you forget where you came from.
You forget where you came from. I keep saying it, and I can't say it enough. It's not where you live, it's how you live.